Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a build guide for the Celestial Warlock subclass in Baldur's Gate 3 patch 7. This is a modded subclass and I was requested to do this, so I want to cover it here. So the Celestial is kind of a blend between healing as well as being a warlock itself. So blessed by a powerful being from the upper planes of everlasting bliss, your pact allows you to experience a touch of holy light, giving us these spells Cure Wounds and Guiding Bolt as selections for our warlock spells. So it's pretty nice getting that there. We also get our cantrips of Sacred Flame and Light, although it's pretty obvious we want to be using Eldritch Blast as much as possible, but we also just get those in addition. So as for the secondary cantrip, I like Minor Illusion for grouping enemies together, or Mage Hand to throw healing potions or even water bottles to set up other characters, but Bone Chill fits as well on this theme, so we're gonna go with that, the Celestial. Now as for our spells, I think that it's best to go with like either Hex. Guiding Bolt's alright, and I will take it just for the thematic purposes, but if you don't like Guiding Bolt, we can go with something else. This gives the next attack roll against an enemy advantage, so that's pretty good for setting up your other classes. Arm of Agathis is pretty good, but not something you really want to be spending your Warlock spell slots on. Hellish Rebuke's also nice, but again, we do use our Warlock spell slots on these. We want it to be something that hits hard, so you can go with Hex or Hellish Rebuke for early game damage. Hex does pair well with Eldritch Blast, so we can go with that. Now for our ability scores, I think it's best to go all in on our Charisma, obviously. Dexterity being another really important one, so something like this can work pretty well, although you can swap the Constitution Dexterity if you want, and you can also take some points out, put them in a Strength if you'd like, but we don't want our Wisdom to go into the negative, so we're going to roll with that there. The Warlock being a pretty fun subclass, or pretty fun class, and I'll be going over gear for this build at the end of the video as well, so you can stay tuned for that. So we'll go through the full leveling guide here now. And at level 2, we get ourselves the Eldritch Invocations as well as another choice of a spell. So you can go with Hellish Rebuke, because sometimes it's nice to be able to take out an enemy with. And Eldritch Invocations, Agonizing Blast and Repelling Blast being the two best. Repelling Blast giving a 4.5 meters pushback to your Eldritch Blast, as well as adding your Charisma modifier with Agonizing Blast. Devil's Sight's also really good, but we can take this at level 5. Beguiling Influence is nice for proficiency in Deception and Persuasion, so this will give us increase to our dialogue rolls. So if you're the face of the party, you could even take that if you don't want to go Eldritch Blasting, as Persuasion kind of fits alongside this build well for the thematic purposes, because Persuasion is typically for the more good aligned characters. Now for our next choice in spell slots, they kind of jumbled all over the place. Hold Person and Misty Step are two good ones, but I don't like using my Warlock spell slots of Misty Step, so we're going to go with Hold Person, but Flaming Spear can be another nice one. Concentration, but it takes hits for your team. And this can actually be really nice for helping with survivability. You can almost treat this like it's healing, because it's just health that your teammates won't be losing. And for our Pact Boon, the Pact of the Blade is just by and far the best choice here. Pact of the Tome is nice, but and Pact of the Chain gives you the Quasite or Imp, but you can get a Quasite elsehow. So we're going to go with this because this allows us to attack twice with our Pact weapon. And actually has quite a power spike at level 5, but we can cast spells and deal quite a bit of damage. We also get invisibility, so that's nice. Pretty good. Turn invisible, get disadvantage on attack rolls towards us, and give advantage to our attack rolls. And as for our spells, we can go with that either Flaming Spear or Misty Step, so we'll go with that there just because it helps with tanking for your team. As for our feat at level 4, I think it's best to go with our Charisma increase to 18, so that's just going to increase our overall damage that we can deal, and we can even add in the Potent Robe if you're going with a good aligned character to get even further damage increases. We also get the Deepen Pack here for that extra attack at level 5, so 2 attacks. It's pretty nice, and then we get some higher level spells. We also get the Daylight Sphere, so summon a sphere of sunlight dispels all darkness around it. What's tricky about this is you use your Warlock spell slots on it, so I'm tempted to not use it often. And then we're going to go with our Devil's Sight here, but there's also the options for the Sign of the Ill Omen for Bestow Curse or Slow, but Devil's Sight, being able to see in magical darkness is quite huge. You could also take the Darkness spell if you wanted to, so that could be our spell choice. Or, yeah, we could go with the, oh yeah, I guess that's the choice there, Daylight Spear. Darkness is a great spell. Hunger Fidar being one of the best choices. Vampiric Touch is nice too for healing, but again, necrotic damage not being the best damage type, so we're going to go with Hunger Fidar. Counterspell is okay too, but using your spell slots and Counterspell burns them up really quickly. So we'll go with that all there, and I play as a Drow, so I get the Darkness built in, so we'll just go with it that way. And then at level 6, we get the Radiant Soul. So your link to the Celestial allows you to serve as a conduit for Radiant energy. You have resistance to Radiant damage, and you add your Charisma modifier to spells dealing Radiant or Fire damage. Pretty good. And it will also get Remove Curse there, but we can choose something else. I'm tempted to even go with like even like a vampiric touch for theming purposes, I guess. But it's tough because we don't have fireball, which would be the obvious choice here, because fireball would be pretty good damage getting our charisma modifier added to it. Fear is also not a bad one. Dropping makes the targets drop their weapons, and you hit it in a cone, so you can hit a lot of enemies with that. I want to go darkness just for the shenanigans that we can do with our dark vision that we now have. At level 7, we get ourselves Guardian of Faith, which is pretty nice because this can help tank hits for us and it attacks enemies. And for our next level spell, I think Wall of Fire just makes, I guess, yeah, we choose between Guardian of Faith or Wall of Fire. Wall of Fire gets our Charisma modifier added to the damage of this, so it's pretty good. Without this class being broken, overpowered, it's pretty nice. And then for our Eldritch Invocation, I like to get Confusion as a Warlock spell slot. That's a pretty good one, but some people don't like that, so you could go with Beguiling Influence here. And yeah, there's a choice between that, Beguiling Influence. You could even take Book of Ancient Secrets, giving you a few extra spells, but they're not very powerful, so that is one thing to keep in mind, because you don't use your Warlock spell slots at level 4 on them. Now our next level spell, Banishment's another choice that we can go with, but we can also go with our Guardian of Faith here, because that's actually not a bad spell for helping out with survivability. And again, Misty Step is never a bad idea. For our ability score, we're going to take our Charisma up, because one of our most reliable damage sources is still Eldritch Blast no matter what. We also get Radiance, Flame Strike here, which adds fire and radiant damage, which is kind of nice because we add our Charisma modifier to that. So pretty good damage overall. And Hold Monster being another good consideration, so you could go with that. Minions of Chaos is pretty nice too, because Conjure Elemental being a very powerful spell, not a bad one to take, so that's usually what I like to go with, but you could go with Enhanced Leap without expending a spell slot. That's another option, but not the best, I don't think. We also get the Celestial Resistance, gain temporary health points when you finish a short or long rest equal to your Warlock level, plus Charisma modifier. Some extra health, never a bad thing. And then we get to choose another cantrip, so we'll go with our Minor Illusion there to group enemies together. And then we're going to take Hold Monster, because that's seemingly the best choice that we got here. Although, the thing with the Warlocks, once we get to level 11, we get a Mystic Arcanum, which gives us the ability to cast one of these without expending a spell slot. So we can get Create Undead, which is pretty nice, and even things like Circle of Death. Eye Bite's nice because you can put someone to sleep with concentration. But Circle of Death's just nice damage because it hit a huge area. And if you have a Necromancer on the team, it won't hurt their undead. And for the next level spell slot that we can go with, it's tough here because we do have some that are a little bit lackluster. Vampiric Touch can be nice to be able to give ourselves back health points, so we could go with that too, because it'll be upcast to level 5, so a little bit extra damage. And for our Eldritch Invocation, we're going to go with, obviously, the Life Drinker here. So this requires a Warlock level 12. Attacks me with your pack weapon, deal additional necrotic damage equal to your Charisma modifier. So that's pretty good, obviously. And then Counterspell is an option. You could go that route, but it burns through your spell slots so quickly, so you'd want to almost use it very sparingly. So with that, Misty Step or Counterspell are ones you want to use sparingly. Even Witch Bolt's okay for damage, but just okay. We'll go with that there. And then for our final perk, I think it's good to go with either Alert for the +5 initiative or increase our dexterity even further, so you can go with either of those. But I'm going to go with Alert because we do use the Pact of Blades, so it doesn't matter as much for our weapon attacks. Now, for our combat, we got ourselves, I guess I'll go and put on the armor that we'd like to use. So this is just from the basket full of clothing. So Potent Robe obviously being the best choice here, so we can even go ahead and get a nice dye on that there to make it themed right. Oh, that looks great. And then for gloves, we got some options here. I guess I'll burn through them here. So something like the Helldust gloves is perfect for +1 to spell save DC and spell attack rolls. And this also gives us extra fire damage on our attacks. And then for the boots, it's nice to go with just like the Helldust boots are nice for being able to go over difficult terrain. Even the Boots of Stormy Clamor, if you got the Illithid ability drain, because this will stack Reverberation on the target. I think my boots are going to be sprinkled in here somewhere. Oh, there they are. Evasive Shoes for +1 armor class. Never a bad idea there for 17 armor class. And then if we go with a shield here, that puts it up to 20 armor class, so not terrible. And then we can even go with something like, if we want a weapon in the main hand, the Crimson Mischief makes for a pretty good one. You'd even go with the Duelist Prerogative with nothing in the offhand if you wanted to. Infernal Rapier is one of my favorites for +1 spell save DC, and the Free Cambion. Although this already basically has our spellcasting modifier built into it, so don't forget to always use your bind packed weapon. So once you have that, your packed weapon is now bound, and we can do 2 attacks with it. And then also for our spells, we got ourselves like a conjure elemental here. So this is nice. I like the earth elemental. It's pretty good for knocking creatures prone, but even a fire elemental works pretty well with this build too. And don't recommend using Misty Step often, but we have our Flame Strike there, Wall of Fire, Guardian of Faith even for extra damage. Make sure you always have the Repelling Blast on when you want it on and off when you want it off, obviously. But typically for combat, we want to go with our... This is a pretty good choice. So we can hit pretty heavy with this because it gets our Charisma modifier added to the damage. So you can see there a lot of damage. And then we can go ahead again. Even something like Hunger of Adar is pretty nice too for damage that it deals, but adding that extra fire and radiant damage is great. Like we took Shadowheart down to low health and we took out 2 of our teammates with just 2 of those. We also got the Healing Light giving us an option for healing, so that's pretty good. But we also got our ability to attack twice, so typically Life Drinker is going to be a nice extra damage addition to a lot of our attacks. So you can just go through, you can see there we took out all of our team relatively easily. We'll just go short rest, bring them back, and then I'll show you what this looks like in actual combat settings. So I guess I'll go with the Guardian of Faith right there. So this Guardian of Faith, if he tries to run, it'll attack and protect us, so that's nice. Flame Strike being a pretty powerful weapon, but even just like your main hand weapon attacks are pretty good, so you can go that route, or you can go with like the Flame Strike, because this, I don't want to hit the Owlbear, so maybe we'll just go with our main hand weapon attack. But Vampiric Touch does have a 5d6, so that's decent damage there, but we missed, of course. So getting into combat now, we get to attack again, and then we'll use that there. Luck of the Fire Realms, boom, critical hit. Didn't really even do that much damage to him, but we could also use that. We got Misty Step as well, so lots of great options here. We can also, oh, he got the, he lost our temporary health points. So we get those temporary health points on short rest, so Mizora may do something devious, so she's going to fly around. I want to see if this will attack here. Eye Bite. So, Shadowheart's turn, and then he's going to run here. Our Guardian of Faith protects us. 8 damage, radiant damage, and it takes equal amount of damage every time it attacks. There's 18 damage, that's pretty good. And that's the nice thing about a Guardian of Faith, is it can deal a good amount of damage, protect you, so that's a nice little benefit of it. Now, this build isn't as strong as a dedicated... Oh, that's sad. Don't look at that. It's not as strong as a dedicated cleric, or a dedicated, like, if you go with a multi-class Warlock, but it's still pretty decent, because you get a nice amount of things here. We can knock creatures prone with our attacks. Yeah, there's lots of fun options here, so that's the beauty of the Celestial Warlock. And if you found this video useful, please hit the subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.